Praise the Lord and welcome to this edition of our series of daily broadcasts, which we have tagged the State of the union between Jesus and his bride, the church. And we are still about the business of the word of the Lord, saying, tell my people to return to me. Tell my people to return to me. Tell my church, tell the body of believers to return. And so since inception, we have been looking at why is God saying to his people to return? What's amiss? What have we done wrong? What are we doing wrong? Or in fact, how have we missed it? How have we gotten out of sync, out of alignment with him? He says, tell my people to return to me. And so in the past couple of days, we have been looking at this wonderful position with Jesus. He says in John 8:31 and 32, if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And we have looked at the testimony of Job in Job chapter 29. What good things came his way? What good things pertained to his experience as a result of what he said in verse 6, when I washed my steps with butter, which in itself is a testament to continuing in the word of the Lord. Now today, let's address our minds to yet another scenario in the scriptures. And once again, to help ourselves, to help our understanding. There is something, several things perhaps, couched, hidden in that evidently simple statement. If you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. Disciples here being followers. Now let's look at the scriptures. In Luke chapter 10, there is this story of Jesus and two sisters. It says in Luke chapter 10, verse 38, now it came to pass, as they went, that they entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him, that is Jesus, into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister had left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. Let us consider the situation in this story. 5 short verses of the Bible. Let us address our minds to this story as it could have pertained to us today. So let us set this story in our understanding of life today. There is a guest in the house. One sister chooses to stay in the living room listening to the guest, and the other sister is running all over the place trying to get things done, perhaps to give the guest a good time. She's preparing perhaps a meal. The Bible says Martha was cumbered about much serving. Cumbered can mean distracted. Cumbered can mean held back, restrained, restricted, constrained. Martha was held back about much serving. What are you serving other than, today we would say, a few drinks, small chops here and there, like I said, to make the visitors' stay a bit more memorable. But then in doing this, she noticed that her sister wasn't helping. She's sitting down at his feet. Let me put it into this language. As if she's the one who loves him more. I said, let us put this story in our circumstance today. You have a visitor in your home, and there are two sisters. By the way, these are the siblings of Lazarus. And one is busy, perhaps in the kitchen, getting some things ready. And she comes and sees her sister. And from the look of things, Mary is the younger one. Mary is sitting at the feet of Jesus, apparently doing nothing. You know, a well of indignation will rise up in your heart. What is wrong with her? What does she think she's doing? Are you the only one who loves him? Are you the only one who wants to hear the word of God? Is it you he came to visit? After all, it's my home. Look at the scriptures. Verse 8 says, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. So evidently, Mary was living with Martha. Where I come from, Martha will be the one sitting with the Lord. And Mary will be the one in the kitchen preparing whatever it was that was holding Mary in the kitchen, Martha in the kitchen now. Now, where I come from in Africa, after Jesus left that house, Mary is going to get it. Mary is going to be tongue-lashed. Perhaps the next visitor, Mary is going to stay in the room and not even come out at all because of her behavior today. Mary is going to be harassed. You can be sure of that. To prove the point, Martha couldn't hold it. She couldn't keep it back. She let fly right in the presence of Jesus. She says, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister had left me to serve alone? Jesus, do something. Say something to her. Correct her. She's the junior one. She should be the one serving. I'm the senior. She's sitting down doing nothing. me tell you something. If you take a decision to continue in the word of the Lord, you are going to get flack from close quarters. People who live in the same house as yourself, close friends, siblings, relatives, perhaps even parents. Because the impression is going to be, who do you think you are? Are you closer to Jesus than the rest of us? Are you holier than the rest of us? And a parent will probably say, I gave birth to you. Can you possibly be holier than I am? Especially being Israelites, that is. There's no way a seeker is not going to get some flack, because in seeking, in following, you're going to leave some things undone. You're going to seem careless. It's going to look like you are neglecting weightier matters. But the answer from Jesus tells us what is the weightier matter. He says, Mary has chosen the good part, which is to sit down at my feet and, you got it, continue in my word. And he says, this shall not be taken from her. Her love for the word, her desire to go after the word and to get as much of the word as she can, it won't be taken from her. Jesus said, if anyone will come after me, let's put it nicely, if anybody will be my disciple, let him first do what? Deny himself, forsake himself, take up his cross, that is, be ready to stomach some of the inconvenience that will be attached to following Jesus. He says, then come and follow. So it's not enough to deny yourself. It's not enough to have a disposition to bear the inconvenience. You are still going to have to do the following. I'm trying to explain a simple point. Jesus, in responding to Mary, seems to take sides, in responding to Martha, seems to take sides with Mary. He is protecting Mary from her sister. He's not just rebuking Martha. It's not a piece of counsel. He's protecting the seeker from the one who is about to dislodge her from the position of seeking. Do you think that after this statement, Martha will continue to harass Mary? That matter is over. Now, if Mary has any sense, she will drop whatever she's doing and sit down. I almost want to say, he says, or she says, or what the Bible says, Martha was cumbered about much serving. What is the other word for serving or for service? It's called ministry. Many of us are cumbered by ministry. We are more involved in ministry than in the direct service of the Lord. Staying with him to hear the word. This was Martha's situation. She was more interested in serving the Lord than in sitting at his feet. Now, that's a very delicate matter. And the Lord has made it clear which is more important. Just like Judas said that this bottle of spikenard oil should have been sold and the money used to help the poor. Ministry. What did Jesus say? You poor, you always have with you. He said, but she has done this. She has anointed my body for my burial. She ministered to him by focusing on him. Somebody else is thinking about ministry. What are you going to do in ministry when you have not the mind of the Lord? And where are you going to get the mind of the Lord? But at his feet, in his presence. Now, I made mention earlier about the situation with Job. In Job chapter 29, verse 1, he actually said that the Lord preserved him. And then he began to reel out fallouts from what he said in verse 6, when I washed my steps with butter. He said, the Lord preserved me. I took my seat in the street. When the young and the elderly saw me, they gave respect. In other words, he had influence. He was put in a position with the elders, leadership, because he washed his steps with butter. But the first thing he said was that the Lord preserved him. The Lord kept him. Now you might wonder, what has that got to do with the story with Martha and Mary? What do you think Jesus was doing in his answer to Martha, that Mary has chosen the correct thing? He was not just taking sides with her, he was shielding her from the accusations and protestations of her sister. He was protecting her. He was preserving her. In other words, because she chose to sit at his feet, preservation came. Because Job washed his steps with butter, preservation came. But I can tell the story a different way. God says, tell my people to return to me. We can tell the story in a different way. Psalm 91 makes it clear about the preservation of the Lord on those who make the secret place of the Lord their dwelling, like Mary did in Luke chapter 10 we just read. Psalm 91 verse 1 says, he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Need I continue? Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. What is going to harass you in the presence of the Almighty? You are abiding under his shadow. What can get there? What exactly can get? You see, I like to ask a certain question. What is it that can harass a child in the presence of the mother? Who can be so bold and in fact foolish to attempt to beat a child in the presence of the child's mother? Really? Those of us who grow up locally, you know how it is. In the sight of a hen, you go and pick up one of her chicks. Now you are going to see a fowl flying in broad daylight, in full flight. That hen is going to take off from the ground after you because you picked up her chick. He says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he will deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler. Every one statement here is a reference to what? Preservation. protection, shielding the seeker, because you made his presence your focus. What is to be found in his presence? His word, amongst other things. His word. He said, thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thy eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. This is what Mary did. She chose correctly. He said, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come near thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways, including your business deals. He will keep you in all thy ways. And they shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. You see the word of the Lord enunciating for us the things which pertain to what Mary did in Luke chapter 10. Going to sit at his feet, making the secret place of God your dwelling, making it a habit to spend time with God. Many of us think that's what we are doing when you read the Bible. You think that's what you are doing when you are praying. I'm talking about spending time with him, not presenting your personal issues to him. Spending time with him. Mary sat at his feet and let him talk. Mary wasn't presenting her personal, oh Lord, you know I'm not married. I need a husband. This is my sister. I'm still living with my sister. I need to go to my own husband's house. What's that song again? Take me to my husband's house. That was opportunity to pray that prayer. Carry me, go my husband's house. But no, she sat there and let him talk. She was soaking it all up, soaking it in. And the Bible is telling us that there is preservation amongst other things. There's preservation all around. All kinds of evils. He even said, in all thy ways. In all thy ways. Now look at verse 14. In fact, okay, let me continue from verse 12. He said, they shall bear thee up in their hands. That's the end. He said, 11. For he shall give his angels charge over thee. He will command his angels concerning you. The first time I saw that in the Bible was Abimelech giving his officers charge concerning Abraham. He called his officers and he gave them commandment concerning Abraham. Let nobody touch that man. He's a man of God. He's spoken for. Give his wife back to him. Give him from our storehouses. And in that simple thing, they further enriched the man. Because what's his name? Abimelech was afraid. Because the God of Abraham had spoken to him. How dare you? He said, he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all. Not only ministry matters, not only holiness matters, not only matters of righteousness. All thy ways. That includes business. That includes your relationships, your relationships with other people. He will keep you. He will protect you. And people will be wondering, how is he getting by? And he's not living the way we are living. How is he getting by? And he's not doing the things we're doing. They can even get further incensed at you for that. You seem to be surviving and you are not doing what they are having to do to survive. He said, thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder. The young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet. And then he says in verse 14, and this is what we are really talking about. He says, because he had set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Who is the Lord talking about? The one who spends his time with the Lord, seeking. His focus is the Lord. And we said already from the beginning of this series on continuing in the word of the Lord, that God watches over his word. If he watches over his word, what about the person who is seeking that same word? Who is washing his steps with the butter of that same word? Well, we know now from Psalm 91. It says, with long life will I satisfy him, and I will show him my salvation. Jesus said in John chapter 8, verse 31, if you continue in my word, then shall you be my followers indeed. Now in Matthew chapter 28, verse 20, in giving them what we now call the Great Commission, he says to them, go into all the world, blah, 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 and lo, I will be with you always, even to the end of the world. He said, I will be with you. Do you know what it is to be with someone? For the Lord to say, I will be with you. That's a word of protection. It's a word of preservation. I'm going to keep you. Go. I sent you. And then in Mark 16, verse 20, he says, and the Lord went with them. He not only promised, he actually did it. He went with them. He went with them. They walked in the knowledge, in the consciousness of his presence. He said, if you continue in my word, then are you. Now these are they only did it for 3 years. 3 years. And this is the release. Psalm 34 says, from verse 3 to 7. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. You see that again. They looked unto him and were lighted, and their faces were not ashamed, because they looked unto him. He said, this poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. He says, the angel of the Lord encampeth round them that fear the Lord and delivereth them. You know, yesterday, I did say that we would continue in a certain path in this business of continuing in the word. Now, but this morning, the Lord began to show me this business about Mary and Martha. And as I considered what he was saying to me, I realized he was not just giving me what to deliver now at this hour. He was also bringing me in my personal capacity, a word of reassurance. That if you seek me continually, continuing in my word, I'll preserve you. I'll keep you. No evil can come near your dwelling. Now, when I know that, why will I panic? So he's bringing the word of reassurance to drive out panic, to drive out anxiety, to drive out fear. But perhaps more than that, to bring this word of comfort to you. If you make a habit of continuing in his word, you are automatically going to make a habit of seeking him. because that's where you find his word, in his mouth. And he says that he will keep you, he will preserve you, because you made him and his word preeminent. The Lord says, tell my people to return to me. Let's come back to him. You see, the thing that made you live in the first place was perhaps one thing or the other about the life that we live in this present world. Some anxiety or the other. And the Lord is saying, if you stay, I'll take care of you. I'll keep you. I'll preserve you. That thing that you are panicking about, I will deal with it for you. But you, first of all, stay. Or now in our case, return. Let's get back to the word of the Lord. He says, if you continue in my word, these things will follow you. But again, we have run out of time. So we'll have to do this again another time. But until then, abide in me. For without me, you can do nothing. That's what the Lord said. Let's keep these things in view. He says, tell my people to return to me. See you again, same time tomorrow. In the name of Jesus.